Tell us who you are and how you're involved with the Michigan Pinball Expo.
My name is Mick McDonald. I'm a co-organizer of the 2010 Michigan Pinball Expo. I've been a hobbyist player for the past 20, 30 years. I've been playing pinball ever since I could look over the top of the glass. It's just something I've always enjoyed. Video games have come and gone, other hobbies have come and gone, but pinball has always been with me. It's something that just, is so dynamic. It never, it's different from game to game. The excitement is always there. It never is the same game twice.
Okay, cool. So, tell us about the history of this expo. This is the first year, but it's the third annual Michigan. What is the competition called?
The Michigan Pinball Championships.
Okay.
Basically, this is the first time Metro Detroit area's had a pinball show. We've had a pinball championship before at Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum over in Orchard Lake in Farmington Hills, Michigan. We ran that tournament there 2 years in a row. And then this year, when we started the Michigan Pinball Expo, we moved the championships over here. So it's the first Michigan Pinball Expo, but the third Michigan Pinball Open Championships.
And what made you guys want to do an expo like this?
Well, all of us in the area here, there's a lot of guys that live in the Metro Detroit area that have huge collections of games. All these games come from local collections, probably within a 100-mile radius. We go to shows in Chicago, Ohio, Pennsylvania. There's the World Pinball Championships in Pittsburgh every year. And we've always wanted a show in the Detroit area. We go to Kalamazoo for Pinball at the Zoo, trying to support that show. And the time came to step up for us to bring our own show to Detroit. As you can see, it worked out pretty well for us. We got a ton of people that came out, and we have pinheads crawling out the woodwork to come and play pinball. We have guys that have 20, 30 games in their basement that don't know any of us. You're like, oh my God, this is great. We want it. I never realized there were so many other hobbyists like myself.
Now, what makes people want to donate their machine? Aren't they afraid of it getting broken? Is there a financial incentive for them to come here?
There's no financial incentive at all. Some guys bring games to sell, but mostly it's because people want to share their games and their love of pinball with everybody, at large. Pinball is kind of a lost art. A lot of people aren't into it anymore. They moved on to video games. When you see pinball machines on location, usually they're dirty and not working right because the operators, they don't make a lot of money with pinball. When it's easier to go fix a video game and replace the joystick, or one of the kiddie casino ticket dispenser games, spit out tickets. That's where they make their money. You get guys that are really good at pinball, they can go sit on a location game for an hour on 50 cents. So we want to bring our games out and let people enjoy really nice games the way they were meant to be played, the way they were meant to be maintained and taken care of.
Now, what do you think of the turnout so far?
I think it's exceeded our expectations so far. Thursday and Friday were really well. The classic tournaments we had on Thursday and Friday both paid out a $1,000 prize pool. And that's really huge for a first-time show, especially on a Thursday night. So we had a lot of the world top-ranked players come and show up. Andy Rosa, Mike Wiley. We have Josh Sharp here now from Chicago, who's one of the top 10 in the world. His dad's one of the saviors of pinball. And today is just even, really hit off to a good start. Got probably 100 people through the doors already, and we're expecting a couple hundred more over the course of the day. We had some local Detroit celebrities show up. Screaming Scott Randall from WRIF. Mitch Albom, noted Free Press columnist and author, he's supposed to show up.
Very cool. Now, going forward, is this going to become an annual thing?
Oh, most definitely. The show's only going to get bigger and better from here. This is our litmus test to see if we can pull this off. And we just started talking about 4 months ago, seriously, like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do it at Oakland University. We're going to make it happen. Our local Detroit Pinball League, the 20 of us, we all committed to bringing games, and we started talking to our other friends. Hey, guys, we're going to do a show. Why don't you bring some games and step up, and let's make this a reality. So the word spread, the snowball rolled, games were brought and set up, and it just went from there. I think we did a pretty good job getting it off the ground. So next year is going to be bigger and better. The goal is to eventually grow it to a hotel convention center. So like in Chicago, the guys fly from around the country. They can stay at the hotel for 4 days, take the elevator to the lobby, go play pinball like 24 hours a day, go back and sleep, come back down, play some more, whole 9 yards.
What about, like John Cosmo was saying about initially arcade games were in the blueprint, that didn't work out though. What about going forward? Might that help expand this if you capitalize on all the people like me who would be willing to go that extra distance for like a Mortal Kombat game or something that I remember playing and loved to death?
Oh, certainly. There's shows that are a mix of pinball and video games. California Extreme in California is one. They have like hundreds of arcade machines, hundreds of pinball machines, and an eclectic mix. People of both walks of life come, and there's a crossover of guys that love pinball and video games. Guys that are hardcore video games say, oh my God, look, a nice working pinball. I've never seen one of those before. You know, now they rediscovered the love for pinball. And guys are diehard pinheads, like, hey, I remember that Space Invaders game or the Asteroids game, or you know. So there's, I mean, I grew up on pinball, and the video game craze came, and I jumped over that for a while. But I never stopped dumping quarters into pinball machines. So eventually the show grew big enough. You know, originally we were talking about bringing 30 arcade games here, but as the amount of pinball machines that were going to be brought grew, we ran out of room, so we had to bump them this year. Well, I think if the show does well enough this year and we can expand, that's definitely in the works to have an arcade show alongside the pinball show.
Now, in the photos on the website, like I noticed, I imagine those are all from the competitions?
Yes, there's some pictures on the website from the competition. A lot of the pictures that are on the MIPinball.com site are just static images from past shows or various pictures we've taken over the years. Some artwork pictures that Keith Elwin of California, one of the top pinball players. He's also a studio photographer and a producer of Pinball 101. He let us use his artwork photos on the site. And our Facebook page, the Michigan Expo Pinball page, we've been updating all day, every day with snapshots from the show, pics of kids playing, sons with their dads playing, whole families playing, just so people get an idea of what's going on a live, you know, day-to-day basis. You know, social media, social networking is the way to go to get the word out, and it seems to be working really well so far.
Is there one pinball machine that like every collector is dying to have that's like super, super rare?
Well, there's it depends upon the person and what genre they like. You know, the games over here from the early eras, the 40s and 50s, some guys might want a game from that era and they don't care about the more modern games. You know, there's holy grails like Medieval Madness is one of the #1 best-selling games, or the Addams Family, and they're both highly sought after, and they sell for twice, 3 times what they sold for retail when they were brand new. You know, John Cosmo sold a Medieval Madness for like 10 grand, I believe, recently. Home use only, low play, and they command a high price. Collectors are willing to pay for them.
What makes them so special?
Just because they're not produced anymore. There's only one pinball manufacturer left in the world, Stern Pinball. Williams Bally, who's the other ones? Gottlieb, you know, they've all gone the way of the dinosaur. They moved on to other more lucrative ventures that make them a profit. They have stockholders to answer to. You know, Bally Williams went into the slot machine business and just shuttered the pinball industry one day. We can't do it anymore. There's no money in it for us.
Now, how do you feel? Are you familiar at all with the video game series from Crave? It's called the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Oh yes, Tim Arnold.
Okay, what do you feel about that?
I think it's a great thing. You know, Tim Arnold's him and his brother ran Pinball Pete's in East Lansing and Ann Arbor back in the day. They built a small fortune and a little empire based on pinball. And it was always his dream, from what I understand, to eventually open a pinball museum someday, somewhere, that he can showcase his complete collection of Gottlieb pinball machines. So that's a great thing that he's doing. There's a Pacific Pinball Expo in California. It's the same thing. They have hundreds of old electromechanical wood rails that they preserved. They bring them out every year for the big show, let the public come see and play them. They put them on location at the airport, actually, in a big circle, just on free play. And kids can walk up like, wow, look at this pinball machine.
Now, I have to ask you about these awesome trophies that you've got here.
Sure. These are, you want to step over and take a look at them?
Sure.
Sure. Well, these made by a guy in, I believe he's in Indiana, Back Alley Creations. John Cosmo's friends with him. He's met him at a couple different shows before. And he was gracious enough to make a mold and cast a pinball and ball trophy for us for the show, for the prizes in the show. We got the best in show. We have the Classics first place. We have the Wizard training for the kids tournament. Classics 3. We got a women's first place trophy, the B division trophy. So best in show for the DMD, best in show for electromechanical.
Cool.
So yeah, he did a really good job. He does special effects and props for movies. And so check him out, Back Alley Creations.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions I have, unless there's anything else that you'd love to share with us, or.
No, just come on out and play pinball. It's not a dead art. It's fun to play. You know, you guys will have a great time. Take a look around, see all the kids playing out here, and check it out. Don't give up on pinball yet.